Hi, I'm Sue, your Magnificence mentor. Welcome to Magnificence Moments number 10. Today's topic is free will. When I was growing up, I was told that I had free will. But I was also told by those in authority that if I didn't choose in the quotes right way, then there would be trouble. So I began to wonder, well, is free will really free? What do we mean by free will? This is a big topic, so I expect I will choose to write an article about it and maybe give some journal lessons along with it. But in the meantime, let's just take a few moments and explore this topic of free will. To me, it boils down to two things: to our choices, the choices that we make about what may be good for us or we may want to do. And then, of course, the second part is accepting the consequences of those choices. Of course, any choice can lead us into trouble, or it can lead us into a great deal of joy. Those are the consequences of whatever choices we make. Really, we don't have to do anything. People say to me, well, you have to breathe. Well, no, actually, you don't. But if you don't breathe, you could die. Yes, that's true. That's the consequence of not breathing, is eventually you will die. But it's a choice, right? So when I look at how tightly wound up we get, thinking that we have to do certain things, it's kind of a prison of our own making. And yet if we switch that frame of reference around to looking at free will, saying I can choose whatever I want, the question is, do I want to live with the consequences of that choice? People can be starving. Some will steal and face the consequences of that choice, and others will refuse to steal. Somehow they each manage to find food, and it was a choice. So what we want to look at is how we can approach the topic of free will and decide for ourselves what it is we most want, what our choices are. And based on the consequences, we'll decide, yes, I'll choose this, or no, I won't. Let me give you a little example. For quite some time, I had been feeling some huge physical discomfort that was really bothering me. But I chose for a long time not to do anything about it because I didn't want to go through the hassle of testing and visiting doctors, and it just seemed like a huge annoyance. So I just didn't bother. I tried other things and put up with it and so on. And then at some point, I couldn't ignore it any longer. So I chose to go to the doctor. The result of that visit was a cancer diagnosis. Now, had I chosen to deal with that a whole lot sooner, months, even a year or two before, the devastation called cancer would not have visited me in quite the same way. However, I knew that I had chosen not to do anything about it, and so the consequences were there for me to accept. It was a huge learning curve for me, but I did realize that that was my choice, and so I dealt with what was in front of me and moved forward. So that's an example of what can happen because we chose not to do something. And of course, there's other times. So for example, in 2015, I chose to go to Greece as a little writing retreat for myself and a present. Well, the consequences of that was the best thing I ever did for myself. And to this day, I just love myself for giving me that particular gift. So that's life, right? We get to choose. We're free to choose anything that we want, or to choose not to do or have anything that we want. That's part of the deal. The other part of the deal is, based on what we choose, the consequences are there for us to like or not, but to accept. Until next time, remember, you are magnificent.